Alrighty. So, good morning. My name is Melanie Pineda, and today I will be speaking about business. So, when you hear the word entrepreneurship, you often associate it with words like startup, investors, and even billionaires on Forbes. But what does the word entrepreneurship really mean, and how do you become successful enough to compete against conglomerate corporations? Well, everyone has a different goal, but anyone in business shares the same goal in the beginning, which is to become successful one day. Google's definition of entrepreneurship seems very complex and lengthy. However, it fails to capture that it's someone who starts a business with a vision that sets out to help others see their vision as well. However, in order to give your vision meaning, you need a clear proposal. In other words, you need a value proposition. First, you need to make investors and then the general public understand why your product or service is so important. Depending on how you approach it, you will often enter the market by identifying yourself as the best option, the better alternative, or the only alternative in the market. Regardless of your stance, if you cannot convince others, then you have a very small chance of surviving in the market. While we just explained the two most important components of starting a business, there's much more that goes into it. Today, I will explain a business model in its simplest form and what needs to be implemented to remain competitive in today's modern society. Explaining the heart of every business is not as easy as it seems. Every business plan in 60 seconds should explain the labor, land, capital, resources, knowledge, and entrepreneurship needed to succeed. Now, the first topic I will talk about is accessibility. It's important and imperative for consumers to be able to find you, to be able to contact you. And without this, your company and your vision won't be able to become successful because no one will be able to see the great stuff that you have to offer. So, whenever you choose a platform to start a business, it's very important to think about how people are going to engage with you and how the consumer is going to be receptive to that. What your company needs to talk about is a problem and opportunity. And this is very important to investors because it tells you and it tells them in a very clear way what's needed and what sets you apart from competitors and why your product or service is better if it's an alternative. For my business plan, I talked about the film industry and screenwriters. So I find that overall in the industry, screenwriters have a hard time breaking into the field and showing all the great work that they have. And for film distributors, they often are able to create a lot of content that's not of quality, or they create quality content but not consistently enough. So my business plan was talking about a company that could help both sides of the business and help cater to one another. Now, referencing the slide I had earlier, I talked about value proposition. And as you can see, I have my mission statement for my made up company. And on the bottom, I have my slogan. And a slogan is very important because at its core, it shares the essence of your company. So a slogan should be as short as possible. And some examples are Nike, their slogan is just do it, or McDonald's slogan, which is I'm loving it. So this helps create brand recognition, and it's very important to keep your slogan concise and to have consumers be able to think, oh, this is tied to their mission statement, and this is why. So Cinemation has a financial package for writers and film distributors. And while this is mine, for every other business model, you need to be able to basically break down why your consumer is willing to pay for your product or service and why they would be interested in using your services. So at its core, you need to be able to share this because investors will decide whether they see that competitors will be able to, one, compete with you, and two, if consumers will be willing to buy into your business model. So, the secret sauce, this can be called many different things. But the reason why this is so important is because a lot of people don't have a lot of chances in their business plan to talk about why they started their company or why it is so important for them. So this is really where you get to the heart of why it means so much to you. And so you should use it to your advantage to help engage with the investors and the public so that you can create a solid not fan base, but a solid set of people who believe in your vision as well. Now, when you're creating a business plan, you need to create the most optimal marketing mix strategy, which is basically print, social media, and media marketing. And this is really hard to optimize because most people operate on a budget. And you should probably think of the mind as real estate because people are so often bombarded with catchy commercials or, really interesting TikTok reels that lead you to, startups that you never even thought of. So you need to find what is the best strategy mix for you and your company moving forward. Now, a competitive analysis is basically presenting to investors the company's value, forecasts, and segmentation, both on a local and international level. And by doing so, you give investors the ability to see how much your product or service can grow in the market and the rate at which you can be scaled at. Additionally, when you're talking about management, you have to talk about your team members. Now, because this is a created business model for a class, I was the sole member. But in other business models, when you have other members, you have to be able to justify their value and explain how many more people you need in order to have your business be successful. Now, financial projections is basically an estimation of cost, budget, and the potential earnings for the next 3 years. So this will help the investors see if it is even feasible for them to support you and how they can best support you and what that would look like over a 3-year increment financially, which is really important because statistically speaking, 65% of businesses fail in the first year and only 26% make it after 15 years. So it is such a small, small, small percentage. And it's very important to have those numbers ready and handy to show investors that this business plan is worth investing in. Now, a timeline is not needed, but it's beneficial to give people an idea of your vision overall. And it shouldn't be any further than 5 years. But if you create a timeline that's of a 1 year span, it would help people, one, not only see your vision, as I mentioned, but two, be able to see the timeline of how quickly you can scale and how important it is to have certain benchmarks met. Now, if you can have any prototype or any product that you can show to investors, it's very, very helpful because it helps conceptualize what you just talked about and make it into a real thing. And so for my model, I decided to create a website. And so this would be the opening page of the website. This would be what our customers would see, and then customer reviews. Now, talking a little bit more about customer reviews, we live in an era where a good review or a bad review can make or break us. And it's very unfortunate, but I don't think people should shy away from this because customer reviews are such a good way of, one, giving your company a very human side and authentic side, but then two, also verifying to other people that your company and your service is worth taking a look at, and that maybe you do have something that people want. So yeah. Now, this is the last slide, and it touches back on the same point I made in the beginning, which is accessibility. If people cannot find you, then people cannot see the great things that you have to offer. So it's very important that you make sure that people can find you, whether it be on social media, whether it be at your office, or whether it be through phone call or any platform that you choose. So please, 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 if you know of anyone who is starting a business or you yourself are starting a business, consider how people are going to engage with you because you never know if one missed client will be 5 missed referrals. So, wrapping up on the presentation, everything I said is important because in today's modern economy, more people have a dream to start a business or have already attempted to start a business and fail. And overall, I hope that my words and my presentation can help guide you or others because every little bit counts. And if we have more quality businesses, then that creates a stronger economy and overall a stronger society. So, yes, while it may feel like I covered a lot of information today, everything I covered is just in a basic guide that I created quickly for a 60-minute 60-second pitch. So I really encourage you guys to one, look at the structures that I have posted, but two, if you have the ability to take 148 in business or even talk to Dr. Sean Josso, I highly encourage it because even just by talking to him or taking his class, you will walk away feeling like you have learned a lot and actually learning a lot. So my name is Melanie Pineda, and thank you for listening to my presentation. Sorry, I'm having trouble stop share. Okay, thank you.